I believe we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of my live chat. We are talking UTSA versus Rice. The recap. The game just ended. UTSA falls to Rice, 27-24, in a heartbreaker. Depending on what side of the fence you sit on, but here at UTSA, not happy about the way that game went. Before I get into all the comments, because I see we already have a lot of people getting their thoughts in, and I appreciate you guys there. I want to take some time to sort of lay out my thoughts, what I saw in the game, what I thought was interesting, where I think UTSA is kind of in trouble. What does this mean for next year? UTSA ending the season 6-6. I'll get into some of that. So, in general, the game, in my opinion, really in itself summed up what UTSA football has been this season. If you look at that game, UTSA's play was very inconsistent. It was very up and down. We had some high points. We had very, low points. We had times where I felt like UTSA was very clearly the better units on either side of the ball at some point. Today it looked like we were just playing down to the competition. And, once you look at some of the strategy and some of the strategic parts of the game, we got outclassed ultimately, and that's why we end up losing the game. That is basically how UTSA's season went all year. You had these lows, you had these highs, you have debate on which, if the coordinator should be fired. There's debate on Traylor and where he should be. You have a moment of, hey, these last couple of weeks, people are telling me, oh my God, the OC is so great. There's questions about, oh my God, after that first drive, people are saying the OC is good. He looks great and all this type of thing. And then it falls on our face. The defense, I think the defense actually played well today. 7 of those points was a pick six. And the offense turning the ball over and giving them a short field in some particular points of time. Yes, a team like that is going to get theirs. You're not going to hold a team like that to 0 points. It's very difficult to do considering the style of play and the way most of the teams are structured in the conference. They're structured to deal with more spread teams. They're not structured to play these teams like Navy and Army. And that's how most teams are structured. So it's why they always upset people and give people problems all year, because they're one of the very few teams in the nation that's playing in that style. So it's going to be tough. But I thought the defense did okay. You can't get they also, now I will say, they screwed up on, you can't let Army pass, hit all those big passes in the fourth quarter like that. Just can't happen. Their quarterback was not a very good thrower of the football, but they had guys who just made plays for them where UTSA didn't. So we didn't make plays down the stretch on the defensive side of the ball, although I thought they were all right today. Offensively, just more of the same. We were inconsistent at QB. We were inconsistent with the pass catchers. They dropped some passes. I think the QB he just had a bad day. The run game was pretty. I think Will Henderson ran the ball well. I don't know if Robert Henry is healthy but I don't know what his situation is. He just did not have a great end of his campaign. You just gotta be real about that, But Army was a good defense coming into this. We just didn't do things well. Like, I understand people are a little bit were softened up by UTSA's offense over the last couple of weeks. And, at some points in conference. But guys, the same thing happens. When people were tweeting after we went up 10-0, I didn't say anything because I understand how this Army team works. Their defense is good enough that they're going to make some stops. They were going to always stutter or sputter up UTSA's offense. What has been the book on Burke this entire season? Not even the entire season, the few years that he's been the coordinator. He is very good on script. Hence, UTSA starts the game. They look really well. We have um, nice drives, right? We have a nice drive, and we have a field goal opportunity as well. We have a couple nice drives. What happens when we go off script? The offense sputtered, and then we ended up going until losing the plot at the end of the first half, and lost the lead. They were able to get some things moving and shaking, in the second quarter, but then they went dormant again. This is just more of the same, more of the same, and there's just so many questionable things. I'm sorry. What is it? Third, fourth down at the end of the game. Fourth down. I'm sorry. We threw into double coverage. The defensive coordinator knew what was coming, guys. This is what I've been trying to explain to everyone about why I'm so out on the offensive coordinator. Yes, whenever you're better than teams and you're just straight up better than somebody, you're going to have these games where you look really well. You have to do something to be qualified for the job in the first place. Of course, he's going to have some things up his sleeve and he's going to call some good games here or there. But what you need is consistency. What you need is consistency. How can we find a way to get it over the line whenever the team needs you most? How consistent are we at doing that? We're not. Fourth down, you need to drop all your code and stuff. That's what you do on fourth down. I think we went I mean, I think we went with a flats concept. We went outs in the slots, goes on the outside. Probably had a Texas route at the running back. I had to see the play again, but that's what I'm assuming. They were all over it. They were sitting cover two. The tight end had a linebacker closing him in on his inside shoulder, a cornerback squeezing him on his outside shoulder. They knew what was coming. We kind of knew what was coming because they ran it earlier in the game. But this is what I be talking about. This is what I be talking about. These kind of things suck. And then so it leads me to the next thing, right? The game is the game. It is what it is. We got a bowl game. The season's over. I'm not even going to go too much into the depth of what happened in the game, right? But when I frame out, okay, now that the season's over, UTSA finishes 6-6. Last season they finished 6-6. There was championship fiber mentioned. There was all the expectations about, hey, how last year was unacceptable. This year is going to be better. Nope, that's not the case. It's not the case. We didn't move. Our offense, I think our offense statistically, I have to look at the numbers. I think our offense took a step back from last year, considering that we had most of those guys were returning this year. That speaks to the coordinator as well, doesn't it? At the end of the day, they're going to have a fall guy for this season. Yeah, they got a bowl eligibility. That's fine. But this was not the target for this year. This was not the target for this year. And don't be fooled by wordplay in the media, the press, or whatever the case after these games and all that stuff. Don't be fooled by the wordplay. This was not it. This was not it. A big issue here is the resources. And people hate whenever that comes up. Because I guarantee you people are going to be in my DMs or in my mentions talking about Army doesn't have that. Army doesn't have resources. Army, they have a very different, I'm not even going to bore you guys with the way they recruit and how they recruit. And I think I did that a few weeks ago anyway, talking about Army. But it's a very different situation. They play that style for a reason because there's certain type of recruits they can get, and they play toward that. Please understand that. Before you go round off, oh my God, Army has this. Please understand that that's a completely different situation. And I'm not saying, here's the thing. I'm not saying UTSA or other teams are not resource constrained as we are. I'm sure they are, right? And they are able to punch above their weight. UTSA has been doing this for a long time. And Traylor's not saying he's got lucky, but he inherited some really, really good players. And he took advantage of the NIL and the player payment thing. He took advantage of those times where it was still new and people were figuring it out. It's scaling now. Schools have figured it out. Teams have figured it out. Guess who hasn't? UTSA. And now we have 3 seasons of data in the American Conference. And we have seen our limitations over the last couple of years with this new nucleus that we formed. It won't. This is it. This is it. There's a lot of, y'all know how I feel about, there's some players that need to go. There's some players who are misprofiled. All those things, y'all have heard me say that for weeks. UTSA is at a position where there's a fork in the road. 100%. There is a fork. They're going to have to go one or two ways, y'all. It's that simple. They're either going to have to figure out how to get more resources and investment and buy-in and stop pissing off donors. That's another thing. Guys, if y'all, you know what? I got time today. And if for the people who don't want to hear about donor stuff and AD stuff, you can feel free to go. But I have time today. Guys, most of the reason one of the reasons that UTSA is so resource constrained, I can tell you for a fact, a lot of the donors who donate big money do not like Lisa Campos. I know that for a fact. I've talked to a lot of them. They do not like her. They like Coach Traylor. He is the reason they give money directly to him. They have no intent to even have a conversation with the lady. But she's the one running the show on how to, pump money into the school. Everyone all season has talked to me about she doesn't know what she's doing. The marketing folks don't know what they're doing. The numbers don't look good. The signals are showing that we aren't progressing from last season. It's another step down. So when I talk about this fork in the road, you either find a way to get it done, or UTSA becomes a laughingstock of the conference. Traylor walks, does not become a UTSA, does not become a attractive coaching spot, and you become a, I don't know, UTEP or something. And no disrespect to UTEP, I know they've turned things around recently, but you get what I'm trying to say. A team that is of no significance. We aren't significant. We aren't very significant in this conference. We haven't been. We're more significant on Twitter. Shout out to our UTSA folks on Twitter. They're very loud and significant there. But if we just being real honest about the results that we're seeing in the conference, not great. Not great. I mean, you start to hear, what I think is interesting is, North Texas losing their coach. But what's also interesting is there is commitment on what is going to be driven into their athletic program financially going into 2026. USF is announcing, oh my God, we're going to max out rev share next year. It's just over and over and over and over and over again. You're getting these things from all these other people in the conference figuring it out. Silence on the UTSA front. The lady came over here and told, when I asked her, hey, when I asked her, "Hey, it seemed like we were late. We've been late to the party on all the NIL initiatives and the paying our player initiatives." And what I got back was, "Hey, we were the first one to announce our plan. How's that going?" So yeah, I mean, I'm sure I have no idea if Trailer's at the podium right now, but I am sure he's going to mention we need investments. We need investment to be better because he needs to go get better players. He's know there's going to be roster turnover. There's going to be guys that hit the portal, and how is he going to retool for next year? I know this for a fact as well. In conversations I've had with Coach Traylor, in a conversation I've had with Coach Traylor, guys, I'll just I'll just say this because I don't want to quote the man. That was a one-on-one conversation, but I'll just say this: if he continues to have to bang his head against the wall and get nothing and not get the support he feels like he needs, he's going to walk. And I get it. And there's some folks out there that saying, you know what, let him walk. Go ahead. He's done great for us. Yes, cool. But the problem with that is UTSA is starting to look like a falling knife. And no one wants to be at the end of that. Nobody's trying to catch a falling knife, you know? That's a problem. That's a problem. That's a problem. At the end of the day, you cannot, if you continue, y'all have heard me say this 1,000 times. Football is the most humbling sport because your weaknesses will be exposed. The weaknesses on the field were exposed today. Don't get me wrong. Yes. Should we have won that game? Yeah. Yeah. But you know what? The games are won and lost in the margins. Everything matters. Everything matters. A coach has to make a better decision on a given play. A player has to execute that. But a player has to execute that. And you know, the other team has things they're committed to as well. They're a good team. They're Division I players also. These things all happen, but you know what? Some of these things can be improved. That coach that's making that decision, you have another guy in there making decisions instead of that coach who's been burning us a lot this year. You have someone else in there making those decisions. You might get a different outcome, don't you think? Some of the players who weren't able to execute. What do you think that is? What do you think that's tied to? Recruiting. What do you think that's tied to? What do you think that's an extension of nowadays? The fundraising and the money. So what's really funny about all of this is a lot of the times, years before, some of the athletic directors will be sort of hidden from blame, and it's on the coaches most of the time. And now that money is such a big part and paying players is such a big part of the overall scope of college football, now that AD can't hide anymore. Now people are going to be questioning, hey, why don't they have the resources they need to attract players, to bring players in, and to keep a coach happy? But as I say, the problem with that right now is I have a bunch of donors hitting this phone up right here before the game, telling me, expressing their displeasure with the athletic director. Go as far as like I'll give you guys an example of something specific. One of the complaints that is or one of the things that has been at least expressed to me is that, you know, I think when teams in general win some of these championships, a lot of the donors who are associated and who's contributed a lot to the program, they'll get rings, championship rings, and they're not very expensive. They're not expensive relative to like a program, right? Like they're not even $1,000 per ring. And it's something that donors really, really like to get. Like it's something that feels good for them, especially when they donate a substantial amount of money. They're donating hundreds of thousands of dollars, like a ring that's less than $1,000 for their, so they can feel more a part of that championship seems doable. Well, Mr. Dr. Campos didn't like that. So you have head coaches having to fork away their money to give these things up. These are the types of things I'm talking about. That's why people are pissed off at this lady. That's why we have these sort of situations. And I try to like beat around some of this stuff because I know she has a lot of supporters that watch my show that I interact with all the time, and people that work directly with her and all that type of stuff. But guys, come on, man. Come on. Anyway, I'll start to get into your comments now. Let's see. This was in the game. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Mr. Meep says, and looks like they choked. RIP undefeated home record. Yep. Bad loss. Bad way to end the season. Excuse me. Yeah, bad way to end the season. Really, really bad way to end the season. 3 straight L's against Army and 2 were in the dome. Yep. They are immune to the dome curse for opposing teams. They are our worst nightmare. Fire the OC. The fair weathered fans have had enough. Yeah, I mean, listen. We need a new OC. There's no reason to mince any words about it. We need a new OC, in my opinion. That's one of the changes I'd like to see, 100%. And I actually think it'll happen. I think it'll happen. Military City, USA is a good crowd for Army. Their fans were loud today. They redirected the Dome's energy. We need to replace Traylor with Sherrod Moore or Deion Sanders if there's no changes made after this season. I mean, yeah, those people are they're not coming to UTSA. You can rest assured that. I listen. I'll be honest with you, y'all. I don't think Traylor's going to be here for that much longer. Because I don't see any signs that like the resources are going to be increased in a way that's going to be meaningful enough for him to be able to put the type of team he want on the field. We probably got him for another year, if that. If I had to guess, I think he says screw it at some point. We need to replace. Okay, no, I already read that one. He says every time an opposing team's fan base shows up to the Dome in good numbers, we lose. Texas State and Army as example. I don't think it has anything to do with that. I mean, that's cool that they have traveling fans. They have fans everywhere. Like, I completely get that. Or not everywhere, but you get my point. But I don't think that has anything to do with it. I think on both of those games, we were in the game that we probably should have won those games. And we had possessions at the end of the game to put the game either to bed or to come back and take a lead, or in the Texas State game, tie the game. We couldn't do that. That came down to execution. We weren't able to do that. Some of that's on the players, some of that's on the coaches, some of that's on the play caller. And there you go. It's official. Frank Harris is the UTSA quarterback GOAT. I think that's beneficial. Would y'all be down for it? Yeah, he wouldn't come to UTSA. UTSA needs a dual threat quarterback. This is a great point. I 100% agree with that. I mean, here's the thing. Like, I don't think Owen McCown. So I'll address the Owen McCown situation in general. I'll address the situation, and this is not me going in on the kid at all. It's not a going in like type deal at all. I think we've seen our ceiling with him as quarterback. He is going to have really, really good games. He's going to protect the ball for the most part. And when the offense is clicking and the play calls are like really, really doing some things, like he's going to be able to be a conduit to like success. But he can play make on occasion, but like that's not going to win us a title. It's not going to win us a conference title. It's just not. I think listen. I think he's a good quarterback for a college football team, for a G5 college football team. That's probably going to be in the middle of the pack of the conference, like we've been for the last couple of years. He didn't stay. He didn't take large step forward this season from last season. To be completely honest, once he start rolling, um, and that's just what it is. I think. I mean, we're not going to upgrade at that position, so like we'll probably win the same amount of games next season because we're not going to upgrade there. Coach Traylor has made it very clear to us. He's made it very clear to the team. He's made it very clear to the backups that that's his guy, and that's what we have to roll with. But I do think his offense is better with a guy with legs that will really, really hurt you. And we've seen that whenever Frank Harris was at the helm. So yeah, I think, yeah. ELM setting records. Shout out to him, man. Really, 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 really happy that his career played out the way it did. McCown has potential, but potential doesn't win games. I think giving Noah Lugo a shot. He's got some serious will. Yeah, but here's the thing about Noah Lugo, right? He wasn't even able to make and I don't know if they redshirted him or something like that, but like he wasn't even able to make the two deep. So I mean the question is, does he hit the portal again? But I mean maybe, but I don't know. Like as long as McCown's there, that's our quarterback. But I think our ceiling is lower. It's just there's no shot at anybody. It's just what I think. McCown dead set on throwing the tight end. He was triple covered. That cost us the game. Yeah, but the play was drawn up for that guy to be the guy that they go to. Yeah, does he got to do better about like, oh my God, I should go through my progression and find somebody else? But yeah, like he's getting hurried the whole game. He started taking some hits. Like that play was drawn up. That's not just on McCown there. Hope we get New Mexico Bowl December 17th. We got away from the run. That's exactly true. I think your son was carrying the ball well. He started really rolling in the second half. Yeah, I mean, I think the problem is we start losing first down, and then we start to have to pass, and then we start to have some success in the pass game, and then but it goes to my point. There's somebody that's calling the plays. Never been one to blame or question McCown, but the last forced throw in a triple coverage is what ultimately cost us the game. I could see him staring down the receiver. Just inexcusable. It didn't ultimately cause us the game. Listen, yes, that play played a significant part. UTSA didn't lose because of that play. UTSA didn't lose because of that play, specifically. No, we lost for many plays before that. We lost because our offense sputtered well before that. We lost because of a pick six well before that. We lost. There's so many contributing factors to that loss. Yes, that was a bad, time at an inflection point in the game. Don't get me wrong, but like that wasn't the ultimate reason that cost us the game. There's a multitude of things that cost us the game, and we'll try to unpack some of those here. Or I feel like I've unpacked a lot of those. 3 guarantees of life: death, taxes, and UTSA losing the Army in the Dome. Army is always one of those opponents you have to really look out for. But this loss hurts when we had so many chances to win. Yeah, I mean that's the point, right? Like you can't take possessions. You can't take possessions for granted. You can't get down in the red zone and start calling like ran. I mean, listen, some of them work, but like we're doing double passes in the red zone. We're just wasting downs, bro. This is what I'm talking about. Like, I guess your Wi-Fi's down. I hope not. I think I'm good. I'm more interested to see the press conference with Traylor and see what comments he has for us fair weathered fans this time. Will he be telling us we need to give more fan support NIL again? We'll see. Yeah, I mean, if he does get on the mic and y'all have any comments, please drop it in the drop it here in the chat, and I'll react to it live. But I don't know. Running back seemed upset on the sideline. I mean, I would be upset too. I'd be upset too if you start punching the team in the mouth in the run game, and then we do what we did. to end the game. Yeah, I'd be upset too. You can't blame them. Can't blame them. They start running the ball well. Will Henderson was at 9.7 yards a carry, bro. He only had six carries. I think that's an issue. I know they wanted to show love to Robert Henry for his final game. Yeah, well, final regular season game, bro. Keep giving the ball to the hot hand. And again, another decision that I'm like, I don't know. I guess I can't be mad at that decision, but you get my point. What are your thoughts on the skirmish after the game? Upset due to the loss. But does this tell us more about what the locker room? Yeah, of course. They're upset. They didn't like this. This was not a great. This was not a great. What do you call it? It was not a great outing. It's not a great season. They all had high expectations. I had Damian Wimberly on the show earlier this season. He was talking about the confidence they had in the team. Traylor was talking about the confidence they had in the team and what they was going to do this year. And they got beat up. They got beat in a game. All the stuff that goes with the myth of the Alamo Dome, the black jerseys, all these things. Yeah, Army didn't give a crap about any of that, and they punched them in the mouth. And then their coordinators beat the UTSA coordinator. It's that simple. Y'all see what JJ's posting about Army players? They were yelling F Traylor to our players. I mean, I have not seen it. That's interesting. That's interesting, but man, it gets intense out there, bro. Football, trust me, somebody saying F Traylor at the end of the game that's mild compared to what typically is said. That's not much. Did you mean against Army? Sorry, I don't not know what this is in reference to, Melissa. I saw JJ post, but I have no idea if that's from one-sided perspective or if that's the true story. I don't want to doubt him, but it's just hard to tell what actually started it. I don't think it matters. It's a nothing thing. It's not anything that anybody should consider like waste any time on. Like you shouldn't waste any time on. Oh my God, it was a skirmish at the end of the game. Nobody got hurt. It was not that serious. Like it is what it is. UTSA lost. They were upset about it. They let their emotion get the best of them. End of story. Army safeties were never more than 10 yards deep. Burke didn't try to go over the top. Bye-bye, Burke. Yeah. Been calling it out all season. I have no reason to pull any punches anymore. I can speak as candidly as I want to because the season's over. So, there's no reason to hold things back and just try to be optimistic for the next game, but it is what it is. They surprised us until the very end of the season. They surprised us all year. If we're talking about UTSA, every single game, y'all have heard me say this, I'm shocked every time. I'm shocked again. Every single game this season, I've been shocked from a UTSA result. This one shocked me also. Just, I probably shouldn't have been shocked, but like beating the teams we've beaten, like, I don't know. It was an awful decision from McCown to throw in the triple coverage on that fourth round. Like, why? Yeah, it was terrible. It was a bad decision. Bad play call. And it happens. It happens. Army players set to tell Traylor to meet them outside. They wanted to fight our coach. I mean, Coach Traylor has not made any friends this year. His comments have pissed a lot of people off. Just the way he's been going about things has pissed a lot of people off this year. Just you've heard a lot more coaches and players going at him than I've ever heard in years past. That's interesting. But yeah, that's interesting. It's Rab says it's pretty much the same record it's literally the same record as last year. I'm not giving them the Colorado State game. Well, if you're not giving him that game, then it's worse than last year. Traylor's buddy gave him that win. Traylor did not win it himself. Still 2 bad seasons with the same record in my eye. Yeah, yes, I agree with most of that. Sure. They had 2 fourth down conversions on the same drive off pass plays. I'm done with the DC, not gonna lie. He didn't make the necessary adjustment. Yeah, bro, but I have to disagree with this. They just got to make a play on defense, bro. Like some of it can be the right call. You just got to make a play. Guys didn't make a play. This is what I mean by roster turnover. We need better players on defense. That's a fact. I guarantee you can go ask all those coaches right now in a private room and they'll tell you we need to upgrade at every single position we got on defense. Yeah, I mean, listen, sure the DC can make a better thing, but I think defensively we need some better players on defense. We need better players on offense as well, but some of that, guys, we were there in position, make a play. They should let someone else run the offense when we enter the off-script section of the game. This OC is not going to get fired. I sure hope that there's a change that's made. But yeah, well, I mean, it's obvious. Once we go off script, the offense is not smooth. A change will come one way or another. Majority of fans are not happy with the performance of the team, and I predict it's Burke. If there's no change, many players will jump ship and fans will be livid. I will not be a fan that's livid if many players jump ship. Y'all know how I feel about that. Not calling any specific players out, but I think we just need better. I predict it's Burke as well, but we'll see. Traylor did signal disappointment in his defensive coordinator as well quite a bit this season. So with him being an offensive-minded coach, he could sack the defensive coordinator instead of the offensive coordinator, but we'll have to see. Army fans trash talk more than Texas State fans in my section. That's crazy. Should we bring in a new quarterback? Absolutely, but we aren't. I mean, not anybody of significance. We're going to probably get a young guy to come in and be a new freshman. He's going to sit behind everybody. But no, Coach Traylor wants to make sure there's no threat to McCown, which is a joke. Respectfully, it's a joke. Jeff needs to break his loyalty and make changes. I think he'll be forced to a little bit, but he's not going to break his loyalty to his quarterback. But we can't afford to go get a quarterback anyway. Like, I guarantee you somebody's going to watch this and shoot me a message and say, we don't have the money. One of the few people that I talk to around UTSA, we don't have the money to do X, Y, and Z. That's what's going to happen. And whenever I get those, so y'all have to understand, when I get those messages from people I know that are in the interworkings of the program and things like that, it's why I get frustrated with the athletic director, because I see a lot of fluff and all this stuff, but in reality, the people who are actually making things happen, they're upset. If the Pac offers UTSA a full share of the projected 8 to 10 million TV deal, so UTSA can consider. I don't know. I mean, I honestly don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's good or bad for UTSA. What I can tell you is they can't hang in an American right now. Army lost to Tarleton. How do they have a better QB than us? Army's a tricky team, bro. A lot of that stuff is personnel and like who you're able to recruit, and strengths of certain teams and weaknesses of other teams. They can lose to anybody. They can beat literally anybody. At this point, if Traylor walks, he walks, not losing sleep over him leaving any more. Do not all that without Frank Harris. I just think he hitched his wagon to something that was limiting. But at the same time, I don't blame him, because that saved us a lot of money to put other people on the roster. Well, I kind of do blame him, because I think we need better there, but we don't have money to go get some of these guys. Like, I remember when UTSA had Diego Pavia, like visiting or whatever, he gave UTSA a number and they said, deuces. I said, yeah, we can't do anything with that. He says Campo's got to go. We know this. Like I said, I don't know sure her job is difficult. I understand that. Um, she just needs to get it together in that regard. A lot of a lot of it is, of course, NIL and investments, but is the main reason we're but is that the main reason we are not performing, or are there other factors such as coaching, player development, etc.? So coaching and player development is 100% a large piece of why we aren't performing. But part of the coaching is just Coach Traylor has to make decisions on putting people where they need to be to make sure they can coach. Because from my understanding, he's gotten the coaches are getting paid well, and he's made sure that that's happened. So the coaching issues are solely on him, solely on who he's employing. So there has to be a change, or people's going to start. He's going to create a. It's just not going to be a good look for him. So that's why I think he'll move one of the coordinators for sure. Um, Player development though. So yes, player development. That's on the coaches as well, but that is a big part of that is the NIL and investments piece, because you have to be able to bring in better players and keep really good players on your team. And we're struggling to do that. What we did do well was we retained some of the talent, but the talent's not good enough. So you still got to go out. You want to go out and get better players. We aren't able to be sharks in the game like that. We don't have the money to do that. That's the problem. That's a problem. That's a problem. This is ridiculous. Highest paid coach in the conference, and we're losing to rivals and teams like Army and Temple. The culture and energy from this program is gone. It is not what it used to be. That is very, very true. Those glory days are getting more and more distant. This is the third season in a row where they're. I mean, I think our first campaign in the American was fine. 9-3 is good, but 2 6-6 seasons, not good enough. Not good enough. Not from this coach. Not from what he brings to the table. Some of the highs he's reached, what he's about, not good enough. Just not. We are going the wrong way really fast. That's absolutely true, and that's why I say there's a fork in the road right now. And they're going to have to make tough decisions if they want UTSA to continue on an upward trajectory. And you know, and we have to be more ruthless in some ways. Period. UTSA has to be a more ruthless program and be more aggressive and be more front-footed in some of the practices that are used to generate income for the player or revenue for the players. Yeah, somebody's on here trying to tell me this isn't a bad loss. Yeah, respectfully, I disagree, bro. Yeah, I mean, let me not respond to that here. 2024 was the year Traylor lost his handle on the team, letting in toxic players like Denver Harris and not clamping down on stupid mistakes and being harder with discipline led to this. I mean, you want to know why he lets toxic players into the team? I know you guys are sick of this, but what choice does he have if he wants to get top tier talent? You got to take some risk because you ain't got a lot of money to go give them anything. So guess what? You have to do some of that stuff is just circumstance. Yeah. And to be fair, he wasn't toxic at UTSA. The coaches were ready for him to go though after the season, but he wasn't toxic at UTSA. Realistically, if you had your way of doing things, how do we raise enough funds and investments to get a higher caliber of winning? Anything the average person can do, anything at all. I mean, that's a really good question. And look, I think one of the big things to me is you got to resonate with San Antonio. And they're just not the masses anyway. And I think how you target that, I think you got to be a little bit more strategic about outreach. At least from what I've been exposed to, got to be a little bit more strategic and personable. You got to have more boots on the ground. And I think you just, in general, to me, I think I said this I said this last week, but one of the big things for me is like you have to make yourself available to the San Antonio people. You have to make yourself you have to humble yourself. You can't have this ego. That lady has an ego. Um she's very egotistical. That's something that I mean, if you just watch things, you could tell, but it is something that a lot of people resent about her who are sort of close to the situation. I think that's one thing. Number two, I just think you have to bend the rules a little bit. You also have to take care of the people who are giving you the money you already have. And you can't be selective with that because you don't like what a guy or you don't like what someone has said to you about you on Twitter. Like I can't tell you how many times some of the people who are like contributing a good amount of money to UTSA are basically saying, "Hey, if it's not trailer, I wouldn't give UTSA a dime because of that lady." Oh, by the way, somebody told me, I UTSA left about $500,000 on the table from one individual person because of that lady. This is what I'm saying. Like, what sucks about some of this is I can't put names out to any of this, or I can't say some of these things, which is why I'm always kind of reluctant and vague when I bring these up. But like, these are facts, folks. At least what's being directly told to me by the actual people. So like the average person can't really do anything because the school has to do it. The school has to do it. Trust me, I've tried to partner with them to do things through this show and to like run a campaign through this show to help. Nobody, no, they don't care. They don't want any of that. Like there's some like anytime that gets pitched, it gets shut down. But like, yeah, and I only said it to say I'm an average person. Average people can't do anything because it has to be. It has to be like this is what I mean by bending the rules. Like figure it out, bro. Scratch and claw. Like try, like don't leave any stone unturned. And we leave a lot of those. We leave a lot of meat on the bone, bro. Trust me when I tell you that we leave a lot of meat on the bone. When I'm saying stuff like this, please know that I just want y'all to know this, especially when it was some of the times I'm like being vague about things. I am not speculating whenever I am alluding to these things. This is not speculative at all. None of it is speculative. Nothing that I say about what I know or what I'm hinting at is not speculative. Trailer is gone with the next coaching cycle. It looks like it's looking more and more. He's getting pissed off with the athletic department. Yeah, he's been pissed off. He's been pissed off at the athletic department. I mean, yeah, like, yeah, bro. Up giving his record. Let's see. Never really thought Campos was a problem. Surprising to hear donors don't like her because besides the ring thing, what changes need to be made? Yeah, I mean, she's been the problem. If I'm just being honest, it's just like here's the thing. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why it can't. Um, like no, that she's everybody's boss. That's what she's everybody's boss. So like just imagine you're at work and your boss, you can't stand your boss. But you can't like when you go represent your boss, you have to represent or they'll fire you. Or you'll get written up, you'll get in trouble, right? So you have to outwardly represent your boss. But amongst your colleagues and amongst the people that you talk, when you get home and talk to your wife and your kids or your friends about your boss, you're gonna talk crazy about your boss, right? That's typical. That's how it is. But in public, you keep your job. You gotta keep things posh. You gotta keep things cool. That's what happens. And I'm not even just talking about football. I can go down the. I mean, come on, man. Come on, man. Oh, but to answer your question about the what other changes can be made, I mean, I don't know. It's not our job to figure that out. If I'm just being real, it's not. Um, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe hopefully they release something at the end of the year in the off season that talked about the amazing year we had and that all the information I got was wrong, and the UTSA did take a step up in all the numbers and projections and revenue for the athletic program. Hopefully, all the information I've got is incorrect, and we are going in the right direction, and we are getting more money and all that type of stuff. I really hope that happens, but I don't know. We'll have to see. Release to Tennyson. I wouldn't mind it. Owen can't make crucial plays. To be honest, he chokes every time in the must-have plays. I'd rather hand it to Henry than trust Owen to make a yard pass. I mean, yeah, I mean that's kind of what I go back to, and I don't like he can make crucial plays, and he has made crucial plays. I don't want to say, yeah, I think that's harsh to say he can't, but it's not like he is not a consistent enough playmaker. Like I said, we were spoiled by our Frank Harris. We were spoiled by a guy like Dalton Stern. You want to talk about playmakers. Like those guys were able to, they were dual threat and things like that. I know Dalton Stern is taking it way back, but those were playmaking quarterbacks. Like Owen is not that. And that's okay, but you're right. In some of these crucial plays, a lot of the times you want to you feel very, very confident in your quarterback having the ball. But I do agree, he's not our biggest playmaker. It is one of our running backs, to be honest. I like Campos. Maybe the fundraising should be led by an expert. So, okay. The offensive coordinator sucks. Poor play calling. Why couldn't they stop the play where the guy in the middle kept catching it terrible? Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, you're right. Play calling wasn't great, and yeah, we did get hit up the middle multiple times. I get why, because they got the linebackers cheating up, because the linebackers have to take a step forward because Army runs, right? So the linebackers have to be on their toes to get to defend that run, because if they don't trigger, that's 5-6 yards they're going to give up on the ground. What happens is the safeties have to condense, and they have to close those gaps, and they have to trigger on their man a lot more, and they just weren't. And I'm talking in like very, very general terms. I don't have the plays in front of me so I can walk through them, but I'm just telling you in general, when you have a run heavy team like that layer of linebackers that are behind the line. So if this is the offense or the defensive line, wait, okay, I'm getting this backwards. Okay, if this is the offense or defensive line, the linebackers are going to be back here behind them, and like where my face is where they're going to try to drop it in the bucket, but the safeties will be like way back here. They have to condense that space. They have to condense that space to make the throw harder on the quarterback. To make the quarterback have to be on time, and when he does throw it, they have to punish him for it. We didn't do that. that option offense is tough to defend in short yardage. Absolutely. They're just really good at it. It's their bread and butter. They're really good at it. Thank you for expressing the frustration of the fan base. The entire season was a complete disappointment. A complete disappointment. And yeah, there's no reason to mince words at this point, There's just no reason. Army wore down our defense. I fought Coach Traylor. That was going they wore down our defense some, but our defense played a game that we played well enough for us to win the football game. I truly believe that. One of those touchdowns was from a mistake on the offense, literally. Am I wrong to still have faith in Traylor as a coach? Like, I would not want him to leave. Yeah, no. I don't want Traylor to leave. I want to be very clear. I don't want Traylor to go anywhere. Let's be very clear about that. I don't want Traylor to go anywhere. What I do want is for him to make some. I do want a new coordinator. If we had to get, I mean, like I said, I'm okay with the defensive coordinator. I'm okay with just Lip. Like I said, I've seen what a really potent. I understand, and maybe it's because I'm a defensive guy. Like, and I know defense. Like, no defense. I can see what he's trying to do, and I'm more okay with him. But if they have to go, both of them, cool, go for it. But we need to see something different, man. We need to see something different. But no, not Coach Traylor. Coach Traylor, I don't want him to. Yeah, Coach was just asked. Shout out to Angela. Just asked what his take was on the season. He said frustrated. Yeah, of course, of course, of course. It is customary for Army to stand behind the opponent during the alma mater song, and for an opponent to reciprocate when Army does their alma mater. UTSA did not do so. Probably while they were yelling at Traylor for. Maybe so. Maybe. Army is UTSA true rivalry. That's true. That's true. That is a fact. It's rap. That is a fact. It's me and it's rap has been on the same page for like the last 2-3 weeks. What is happening? Shout out to my man Anthony. He says, with the ball in Frank's hands, we knew we still had a chance. Unfortunately, we just don't have that. And after 2 seasons going into the third makes you wonder. Loyalty would keep the change from happening. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of what I was talking about earlier, Anthony. I just don't think that listen, McCown is a serviceable quarterback, but he's not a quarterback that's going to win you a title. I think in this type of offense that Traylor runs and the type of things that UTSA is trying to do, you need a quarterback that's a lot more of a threat with his legs. But and you need somebody that can break a defense down with his legs, because that holds linebackers, which opens up gaps. That's one of the reasons Frank Harris was so dynamic. They had to account for him as a real threat from a running standpoint, not just a occasional scrambler. And when you do that, you lock positions into certain spaces where receivers can find holes behind them and around them. It's just not the same threat with McCown here. And I think Traylor's offense, or that the type of offense they're trying to run, is better when you have a true threat there. UTSA is trying to claim Military City. USA is their home. Might actually make Army Navy our true rivals, but still F Texas State. It's not a bad point. And I don't know if we want to play Navy anytime soon. Any insight on the guys UTSA is recruiting? Anyone in particular you think will be an impact player? I am going to get more into the recruiting this offseason. It's something I want to add to the game. I am going to add, I'm still going to have UTSA stuff, but I am going to get into a little bit more than UTSA. But yeah, recruiting is something I'm going to look at a little bit more than I have in the past. It's hard to project. I did some of it last year, though. It's hard to project on some of these guys. I'll probably do some things whenever we have some of the signings, looking at some of their tapes, seeing how they'll what roles they maybe can come in and play. But it's just going to be tough. I am going to look at a little bit more where guys, or what other schools are looking at some of these guys that we're getting. Who are we winning recruiting battles against? I think is really important at this particular point in time. So yeah, I don't have any real big insight right now because I've just been focusing on the games at hand. But I will be having some updates in the coming weeks on some of the recruiting stuff, especially after signing day. The East-West screen pass play call on 4th down during the game was the icing on the cake for me. Time for a new OC. We'll see. Have Army played out of Camp Bullis, and we could have ourselves a real fun rivalry with them. Have Army play out of Camp Bullis. Yeah. Do you think if Traylor leaves, Will Stein will be interested in UTSA, or he's just P4? Yeah, he's just P4. He ain't coming to UTSA, y'all. I know people. I know people really, really want him and all those things, but yeah, that guy is yeah, we're not. No, he's gonna get a P4 head coaching job for sure. Or have Air Force played out of Lackland or Randolph. Could be fun. All right, I'm gonna wrap here, guys. I appreciate you guys for being on with me. Yeah, enjoy the rest of your weekend. I will have a show next week. I'm gonna try to get JJ or Greg Luca and mix in some guests as we build up into bowl games and things like that. But let me know if you got who you guys want to see on the show or anything like that. Just shoot me a DM and hit me up on Twitter and let me know. And let me know what you guys want to see this off season from me in terms of from a content standpoint that'll keep you guys here and interested. I'd appreciate that in my Twitter DMs or drop some comments as the video ends. Either way, I appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the video. I'm out. Peace.